Hello everyone. I wanted to share something new that God showed me a couple days ago about waiting on Him. And this is somewhat ironic because He was showing me about waiting on Him several years ago, and my song came out of that. But yet, just a couple days ago, He shows me again something new. And I was thinking about the difference between when you are thinking that maybe something's going to happen and you want it to happen, and when you're waiting on something to happen. Like, let's take, for example, a kid who's got a baseball game or a concert or some sort of an event that they're going to perform or compete at. And let's say that sometimes the parents of that child tell them, I'm not sure if I can make it. Maybe I'll be able to. It depends on whatever. Then that child, the whole way through warm-up, in the moments before the game starts or the concert starts or the race starts or whatever it is, they are sitting or standing or whatever, but they are thinking that maybe they're wanting mom and dad to show up, or they're wanting grandma to show up or grandpa to show up, or whoever is going to come support them. There's a big if in their mind because they don't know if that person is going to be able to come or not. They want them to come. They're hoping that they'll come, but they don't know if they really will, if they really can come to their show or performance or game or race or whatever it is. And then let's say there's another time, or maybe another child whose parent is reliable, and that parent says, yes, I will be there at your game. I will be there at your conference. I will be there. That child, the whole way through warm up and in those moments before it's going to start, they're not thinking if. They're simply waiting for mom and dad to show up, or for grandma to show up, or their friend to show up, or whoever. They're just waiting. And that's what God showed me about waiting on Him, that there is a difference between entering His presence thinking maybe God's going to do something, and entering His presence to wait for what you know will come. You might not know when it'll come. You might not know if it's going to come that hour or in the next 5 minutes or that day, but you know what's coming. And I was thinking about this because I was thinking about how my journey in recognizing and hearing God's voice has changed. It went from not knowing that God even was talking to me, to wanting to hear His voice, to thinking maybe sometimes He talks to me and maybe I'll hear it today, to now it's at the point where I'm just waiting for the next time He speaks, and there's no more question. The only question might be when, but there's no if question about it anymore. And I realized, so when we sang I Will Wait at my church this past Sunday, the song had a whole new meaning that it never had before. Because I thought about how when we go into God's presence and we're waiting on Him, true waiting is waiting for whatever it is that we know He is to us, that we know He's going to do to us. And I'm not talking about convincing ourselves that we know. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about a mind game where you try to block out all the negative thoughts and confess 153,000 times of what is going to happen. I'm talking about the things that God has revealed and done in your life in such a way that they are now experiences and a real reality that you have with him. And when you go into God's presence to wait on him, think about what it is you're waiting for. Don't think about what you can certainly talk to him about the things that you want him to do and you want him to show you and you want him to tell you, if he's willing. But I think it's also important to identify what you're actually waiting on. And I think in the beginning, it has to start and stay, even through our whole lives. The beginning of that waiting always has to be rooted in who he is, that we are waiting on him to reveal more of himself for us. And in the very beginning, it might be nothing more than, God, you are my Savior, and I know you are able to save me, and this is my situation, and I don't know how you're going to save me in it. I don't know how you're going to carry me through it. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know if you're going to say anything, but here is what I know. I know that you are the answer. So I am waiting on whatever it is that you are going to provide for me in this moment. And it's not a lack of faith to not know what that thing is when you do know who it is that you're seeking, because we wait on him first. And then as our relationship with him unfolds, then we begin to discover all these facets of his character and our walk with him. And our waiting on him means that we are also waiting on the next overflow of that relationship. We're waiting on the next tidbit that we know he's going to give, because we've discovered that he's a God who loves to share his heart with us, and he loves to show us more of himself. But that's what waiting on him is. There's an element of faith in there. And again, I'm not talking about the convincing yourself in your mind what you believe and what's going to happen thing that some people call faith. I'm talking about, it's an element of faith in that God has made you able to trust him at that very elemental level that we get to and that we find in the biggest struggles of our life. When we're face to face with the Red Sea, when we're face to face with whatever thing is standing in front of us that we can't see a way through, we don't see a way around, we can't turn around and go back because everything behind us is even worse. And in those moments that we know, and we're face to face with all the things that we don't know, and God brings us down to the foundation of what we do know. And in my life, that foundation has always been, that he brings me down to, is his character, is who he is. It's the fact that God, I know you're my Savior. I know you love me. I know that you know more than I do. And that's enough for me in this moment, to just trust in who you are, because I don't know anything beyond that. I only know who you are. And that's that foundation that waiting on him has to start in. But as we walk with him, as we grow in him, as our relationship with him unfolds into a richness of beauty where there is so much revelation and awesomeness and everything that he is, that's still the foundation. All he's doing is showing us little bits and details of it. Just like everyone appreciates the beauty of a rose, but only someone who's looked at it in detail, only someone who is able to watch slow motion of it unfolding, is only someone who has seen the macro close-ups and really paid attention can appreciate all the details of a rose unfolding and how it unfolds and everything. And when you're watching that rose unfold, you're appreciating the whole beauty of the rose, but you're also waiting for the next petal to unfurl, because that's how it happens. But it's all part of that rose. And that's what a relationship with God is like. It starts with knowing who He is. We're waiting on Him. But as it unfolds, He begins to show us the details. And part and reflection of waiting on Him is also waiting for the next petal to unfold, because we know it's coming. And sometimes we know what it looks like, or we know what it sounds like, because that's what we've seen so far and we've shown it. So that's what I wanted to share, and may God bless the rest of your day as you wait on Him, and may He give you the eyes to see and the vision to see the things that He's doing in your life, and what waiting on Him looks like for you, and where you have the time and the ability to wait on Him, because anytime you give Him to wait on Him, He will multiply it in your life. God bless.